Hello, everyone. Welcome to the grand finale of our Vampire the Masquerade show, Silence of Shadows. How are you guys feeling? Are you ready? I think Ava's ready for like a Michael Jackson concert. I feel like you got like the vibe.
Every time I wear this hat, people always say like, "Oh, Michael Jackson."
No, it's like the hairstyle and like the black and like the red lips. I don't know.
That was
it's giving
not
me
the vibe I got. I was about to say that was not the vibe I got, but I see that now.
now you can't unsee it. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it though. I'm into it. It's not a bad thing.
Yes.
You
I
guys
got the
prepared
style.
for this grand
Wear my
finale? Mathis is. He's like,
Yes!
yeah.
Finally. Be rid of you all.
How dare you?
It only took forever.
84 episodes of these characters, 90 episodes of World of Darkness, all told after today, because today's episode 54. And we did 6 episodes just around the corner.
Isn't that nuts?
Wow.
It is nuts.
Wow.
It is. It's
Wow.
nuts. What a wild story
I know.
so far. 90 episodes.
It has been crazy, and we have a lot of characters, and maybe there's more to come. So you'll have to stay tuned and watch. But of course, I have some things I need to talk about, some quick announcements and whatnot before we get into the rough of it all. First and foremost, we would like to thank and get some roll ups in chat for our supporter today. Philip, thank you so much, Philip, for supporting today's episode. You allow our cast to be able to feed their lovely cat butts. Look at that plump
Right there, literally the biggest one on Twitch.
feed our cats, feed ourselves. Being able to pay our cast members is a really important thing for us. So thank you so much for allowing us to be able to do that and continue to tell amazing stories through the Roll For It medium. And of course, if you would like to become a supporter, you too can support us by going to patreon.com/rollforit. And there's all kinds of rewards from MP3s to behind the scenes stuff to, I'm sure Mathis will have some things for me as well. For the GM tier, we'll have character sheets up. We'll put those up so you can kind of see the finale episode of what all their characters look like now, before maybe in the future they're changing up. And of course, we have Legend Tier games where you can join a privately GM'd game by one of our cast members. We rotate those out all the time. I think you did one more recently, right, Dot? Or you're doing one now?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Today's Saturday. Yes, I know where I am. Yeah, tomorrow morning actually, we're playing the Princess Bride RPG.
Ooh, that sounds fun. That always plays like different ones. I like it. It's fun.
It's a D6 system, like pool system.
I like D6 systems.
Yeah, they are. They're fun.
Yeah. Because D20, like, you can be really good at something and still fail.
Yep. Yes.
And of course, there are other rewards as well. So just, come hang out with us over there. That's a great way to support us and also get something in return. Beyond that, we also have time zone weirdness is over. We're back to normal, which sometimes sucks for some of us because that means we have to wake up earlier. But everything's back to normal. 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. UK. Those will be our starting times, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays going forward. And of course, we have Ascension and Near-Earth map and tower floor GM notes coming soon. If you watch our Ascension show, you'll definitely want to check out all of those goodies. And with this being our grand finale of our VTM show for season 2, we will also be having another show that will be coming, which is Merc's Chapter 2. So if you're interested in watching our Mass Effect show, if you've enjoyed our Mass Effect series so far, you're definitely going to want to come watch our Chapter 2, which will be starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. UK, right here next Saturday, twitch.tv/rollforit. And I think that's it for announcements beyond. If you would like to support us in other means, you can, follow us here on Twitch and subscribe and get access to our VODs in advance, as well as access to our emotes. And if you want those emotes over on YouTube, you can become a YouTube member. And of course, if you are a patron, a YouTube member, or a Twitch subscriber, you get access to our Discord, which you can talk to all the cast. I saw Dot having mad conversations over the last week. Hang out and ask questions and chat with people. We have a whole amazing community of Roll For It fam folks that do a lot of really cool things and we theorize together. We plot. And with that, I am going to hand it over to our lovely storyteller. Take it away.
I'm so excited to leave you in about 30 seconds to get my coffee. I am excited though. This is going to be bittersweet as always. It's always weird doing a finale for a season just because we did 54 episodes season 2. I did not expect we were going to get that far. So this is going to be a bittersweet thing. If we're ready, then I'm going to begin, and I will go get my coffee at an appropriate time. The first thing we hear is a young girl pointing out over Dakota's shoulder as the camera comes into focus. Dakota on her skateboard with the young girl latched across her back. Still rather messy looking, but much for Dakota in the city.
Oh no. Oh no, we lost audio.
Oh shit, do we not have audio?
It should be fixed now. I think it broke because I switched to speakers. You're good.
Oh, okay. Sorry, where did as you round the corner, as you round the corner, the young girl kind of points wildly and she goes, "That's the library, right?" Before she can even see the sign that it would even say it. You over the past few nights have brought her here kind of time and again and to get her used to Eleanor and Eleanor spending some more time with her. And on this night, Eleanor is looking forward to seeing you for a number of reasons. But as you come to the back door of the library and we hear the skateboard clatter with the concrete and kick back up and you kind of lean it up against the wall, and she scurries down your backpack and lands on the floor with a tiny little thud. She's got this wide smile and this glimmer of excitement in her eye. We watch as Dakota reaches over and knocks on the door.
Yep, just a rap, tap, tap.
Yep, couple bangs on the door, and very quickly the door is creaks open to Eleanor smiling back warmly at the two of you, clearly expecting you, and standing back and just ushering you in before shutting the door behind you. She's like, "Hey, oh my sweet girls," and she walks over and gives you a hug first, Dakota, and then she goes and hugs little rascal before she goes. "I got an early start on work tonight. I've actually already finished polishing the shelves. I won't need more than another hour or so here before we can." And she looks down to the girl with a warm smile, "Before we can get out of here and go home." And she stands back and looks up to you. "Are you going to be okay, sweetheart?"
I am always okay.
She gives you a look before she asks the girl to go get her a couple of books that she wants to take home for the night. And she scurries off and starts looking, and Eleanor walks up to you and puts an arm on your, just on your shoulder. And she's like, "Are you sure?"
Yes, I think so. Moving on from old, better word for shit. I don't have one. Just moving on.
She smiles and she's like, "Garbage would suffice."
Yes, moving on from old garbage.
She chuckles at that. She looking over and over your shoulder again to see the girl pulling a couple of books. We can actually see her come into focus as a few slide off the shelves before the camera refocuses on the two of you again. Eleanor kind of pulls her hand back and she goes, "And you're going to be okay seeing this girl off?" And
I mean, she can come visit me when she wants.
She nods. Just the two of you just seem to have gotten bonded rather tightly over these past few nights.
I mean, she's adorable.
And she giggles as she nods, and you both kind of look back over and around your shoulder, and she's finishing shoving a children's book that's a bit too big for the small backpack that she has, and she kind of shoves it in sideways in the diagonal way where the corner is at the front, and she just kind of slides it in, and she half zippers up one of the sides, and she slings it over. She's like, "All right, I think I got a couple cool ones," and she starts jogging back over.
Yeah, and if somebody had done what I'm doing for her when I was her age, maybe I wouldn't have ended up like this,
Well, if you didn't end up like this, maybe this little girl wouldn't have had a chance in the first place.
Maybe.
I like to think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, me too. Plus, she doesn't care about,
The punk rock look of the late 90s.
Sure. Yeah, she doesn't care. She doesn't seem affected by it, which is nice on the occasion.
Oh, there's nothing to fear of you, Dakota. You're not some scary monster. You're just tied up with the wrong people. And my offer still stands for you. If you ever want to get out of that life, you can come stay with me.
Yeah. I'll remember that. And thank you.
And she looks down to Hannah before looking up at you. She's like, thank you. And she goes to give you another like tight and warm hug.
Yeah, and I'll give her a hug, and I'm like, I gotta go, sun's down, I gotta go to work.
She's like, and don't worry about her. I'll make sure we cook her. I got her some dinner and found a few spare toys from when my kids were kids. So.
Yeah, about that, I'm gonna bring by some money and stuff. Make sure that, it's not on you. I can't imagine a librarian salary is helpful.
She quickly shakes her head no, as you likely expected her to do, and she says, I could take care of the girl on my own, I promise. I don't want you to do anything more than you've already done for her.
Look, if I've got to live the life I'm gonna live, the least I can do is make a little bit of extra cash.
There's a gentle rebuttal that she gives you, but again, even before words can come forward and you kibosh it, she eventually begrudgingly accepts. She says, looking to you warmly, that I'll be here every night still. And I'll make sure she's here with me when I'm working. I won't leave her alone. And I'm teaching her how to read like I did you. And she points to a familiar table where she had sat you down. Or at least helped you. I don't think I taught you the building blocks. You had a rather solid understanding.
Yeah. From another kind of woman.
Well, I don't want to. She kind of like, as the silence falls over, she kind of steps forward and, rather steps back from the hug. She's like, I don't want to keep you, but I've got to also finish up and I want to get her home before the macaroni and cheese I have in the oven gets too cold. Homemade, not that boxed stuff.
I'm jealous. But she's got a bit of a hankering for meat. So just keep some protein in her,
She nods. Growing girls gotta get fed well. I understand.
Damn straight.
Not my first time riding around this street. Is that a saying?
It is now.
She smiles. I've raised a bunch of kids already. Don't worry about me.
And she says, I don't worry about you. I never have, Eleanor. Until next time, I promise That's a different story. I promise to bring my books back next time.
She's at this point stopped asking, and as you finger guns your way back to the door, and then you hear the door shut, we can hear the skateboard hit the concrete before the camera makes its way over further south, just a bit, the movie theater. The coteries gathering tonight. There's an Elysium that had been called the night prior, and tonight's the night it is to be gathering. And as you typically do, the three of you get together to discuss the events of what this Elysium is likely to hold, though I'm assuming the coterie has some assumptions. But exactly what the intent going is. Are you simply going to go and watch? Or will there be attempts to converse with those that are there? But while Dakota is at the library, Ava and Ollie are at the movie theater. Would the two of you like to have any conversation, or would you like to move forward to when Dakota arrives?
I'm okay having a mild conversation here. We'll see what comes of it. What would Ava be doing? I'm curious.
I guess Ava's just getting ready. Getting ready for Elysium. Yeah, she probably was, the night prior was enjoying her lavish food and drink. And she probably will be enjoying that like every night for the next few nights. Oh, and she probably would actually go to Ollie and say, by the way, Ollie, I love the idea of the the little parlor that we have.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I indulged in some cheesecake last night.
Hey,
it was delicious.
You had some cheesecake, right?
It was divine. It was
Worth living.
absolutely. It was the best. It's been so long, so I just wanted to. I just had to tell you that it was worth it.
I know I'm not a toreador, but I think we all kind of take a little bit from everyone here. Man, we've shared a space long enough. I remember being a kid and trying cheesecake for the first time, and it just blew my world open. I wasn't ready for it. And I accidentally had some wine with it, and I felt real fancy. Real fancy. And I mean, if we're going to do a theater this way, then, why not? Right? We may as well have some fancy wine and some nice cheesecake.
I think one of my favorite things, Ollie, that I've grown to love about you is your taste in food and drink. I still remember that one time where you got us some of your top shelf stuff and talking about the flavors and just, I don't know, the palette of taste. It was, I don't know. It was something special. And I really appreciate that about you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think, I don't know, there's just something about the living. We live so long knowing that there's an end. And we sort of force our passions, right? We bring out the best of us because we never know when we're dying. But now that we're already dead, we don't know when we're going to die another time. We can live forever. So in a way, we can kind of perfect those things.
Yeah.
And that's kind of nice. But I got to thank you, your bougie ass kind of brought that back out of me. You showed me some of the things that I forgot about, the things that were worth living for. So I'm grateful for that.
I'm glad that I could bring that back, and I'm glad we could bring a little bit of that here as well. So I don't know. It's really nice.
It's probably a lot to ask, but if something happens and I go away for a bit, you gonna be okay running this?
Of course. I mean, I could totally run this.
I ask because it looks natural, right? With you, wine glass in hand. That's just that's so you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I know that this was your ideation, but I think that I could absolutely take it up. I have a few ideas in mind for menu options and things like that. So if you would be, so kind to allow me to maybe put a little bit of my own touch into it.
Hey, please.
I'd be happy to do so.
By all means, indulge. Go wild with it. All right. Just remember, the human craving is much more voracious than our kindred cravings.
This is true. I've noticed that very quickly.
Yeah, we're just kind of stuck with blood. And maybe a few varieties of blood, but
it's not very
man,
healing.
Human life is just kind of wild like that. Man, that's why I always got weird with my burgers. Just because people, we all come from different flavors, different varieties. I don't know, just keep it spicy is all I got to say.
Yes. Yes, of course.
What do you think's going to happen here?
What, tonight?
Yeah, with this meeting.
Besides the new sheriff, or besides the announcement, I assume, of what happened to the sheriff, I know that Bella's been planning some new seats. I met the new Malkavian, Primogen, a few weeks ago. So I assume that there will be some announcements of new Primogen, or at least an introduction. So that should be interesting, I guess.
You think we're gonna hear something about the lupine?
I didn't even think about that. We might. That did kind of cause a stir the other night. But I don't know if they want to start getting other kindred concerned about the issue, if it might be brought up or not. But you might not be wrong. It might be brought up.
I think I'm gonna drop the mask. I think I'll save it for personal occasions when I gotta, be in public with Kyne. But I think it's time that I drop the mask.
So tonight?
Yeah. It's time. I don't know, it feels right. Feels like I need to start thinking about me.
I think you're right. I'm sure it'll be the first time many of the kindred have seen you like that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's not exactly perfect, right, but teeth are teeth. I can't really say a whole lot about the nose, though. I would kind of wish I would have left the tip. Makes me feel a little off. But, and like Ollie kind of undoes the snap under the jaw and removes it. And I think he just sets it on the bar. Pulls out like a little handkerchief to kind of dab the areas where like either spittle or sweat has sort of pooled up.
Ava will like kind of, at first she'll look kind of, you can't help but notice she stares a little bit at first because it's been quite a while since she's seen Ollie without the mask.
Right.
And then as she sees you kind of like fixing and like adjusting and kind of dabbing at it, she'll say, hey, let me help. And she'll kind of like fix and like maybe pull out like a bit of a cosmetic and just kind of like help you adjust a little bit. It looks great.
Well, you never say that I never smiled, right?
Oh, I'm looking forward to this. I'm
It'll
happy
be-
for you, Ollie.
It's gonna be weird, but
Of course. We'll just, keep you away from the Toreador. No, I'm just kidding.
As Ava cackles at her own joke, the door, you can hear the skateboard hit the wall outside as the door opens, and in marches Dakota. Ava's cackling at something, and Ollie is maskless at the moment.
hey, there's a queen.
Hey, Dakota. Sorry, I was just making a Toreador joke.
Those aren't usually very funny, and at someone's expense.
They're funny to me. And you know what? If Brett was here, he would find them very funny. So.
Oh, just who you want to base your humor on, the great Brett.
Can we refer to him to his proper title, King Chad?
King Chad.
Lord of the banana hammock.
He is a tumultuous man, that is for sure. No mask tonight, Ollie.
Yeah, I think it's time to put it behind myself, at least for a little while. And I start thinking about me.
I feel that. You can see Dakota has a brand new pair of leather pants on. Brand new. Right? And a nice top, because obviously we're going to Elysium or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're looking good.
I bought this. I bought it. I didn't even steal it.
Well, I'm impressed.
I'm a role model now. I've been told.
Oh.
You've been kind of that way for a while.
Yeah, well, getting rid of some baggage really helps put things in perspective. Who wants to take bets on whether or not they're going to take the sheriff's head?
No, that would be a stupid bet to take. I ain't doing that.
Come on.
Listen, I learned a lot in my living life, and you just know when not to take a bet like that. It's gonna happen.
Oh,
And if they don't take his head,
forward to it.
if they don't take his head, they're gonna feed him to someone.
Yeah,
You know,
I was just thinking.
what better reason to buy a brand new pair of leather pants than to watch your enemies suffer publicly?
Yes. It's going to be interesting to, for once, we're not on the stage getting the punishment. I mean, the last Elysium, we technically didn't either, but just seeing somebody else suffer. It's kind of...
Okay. All right, new bet. Who do they feed him to? Who gets to eat the sheriff?
I'm not gonna eat him.
Oh, I would. Very willingly.
Of course.
I'd at least fucking try. Plus, if he came out the other side, he'd be in this fucking body. Joke's on him. Sorry, my humor's a bit dark. Well, you look great, Ollie. You know, I always hated the mask anyways.
Yeah. I know. Well, I mean, can only hide so long, right? Can't hide from the truth. That is what it is.
Ain't that the truth? So, what's our plan? We just gonna be wallflowers at this here party?
Well, I imagine no matter what we do, we're gonna draw some sort of attention. And likely we'll end up seeing some faces. I have no doubt that I will be approached by at least one Nas.
Well, I have no gangrel to be approached by.
I mean...
I imagine everybody's gonna keep a swift distance from Dakota Rain.
Hey, I've been thinking about something.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think I might take a bit of a step back from everything for a while.
What do you mean?
I spent a long time trying to make sure that I can make our world safe for us, and I made a lot of mistakes. You know, I really kind of gummed up a lot of our world, hinged on my own morality, my own set of rules, and I did a lot of lying as well, especially when it came to Rowan. But I think it's time that I take a bit of a step back, from everything. You know, I know that everybody's tired of the Rowan story, and I'll be honest, I'm with you guys. I'm ready to bury it. But with that, I feel like I'm burying a lot of who I am. You know, we've discovered through time that anything that we seem to care about inevitably becomes ammunition against us. And I don't feel safe. But because of that, I know that those of you around me, you know, you're not safe either. No, I'm not. I'm not leaving Chicago. But I think I need to take a step back, and I need to leave the immediate view of Chicago. Not that I'm going anywhere. I can't escape this place. It's home. I was born here. I died here. I'll die here again. Not that I can pull away from anything too long anyway, because I catch so much shit from Grant alone if I manage to shut everything out of my life. He's kind of attached, right? He's kind of attached to y'all. I think I'm going to be pursuing some dreams, guys.
Isn't that what you were already doing?
Yeah, but the hard sell here is that I've not been honest with myself in a long time. But something recently clicked. Real hard. And I realized that I love Chicago. But more than that, I love both of you. And I'm in love with you, Dakota. I know that for certain. At the core of my unbeating yet somewhat sometimes beating heart. And that's scary. That's really scary because I don't think I ever felt love before. I don't think I have. I think I felt infatuation, you know? I felt aroused. I felt excited, but I've never felt love. And that's fucked up. It's a fucking scary thing to just toss all my trust out on the line and hope that it's not used against me. Not that I think you would, because you've only ever been good to me. And I kind of owe you the world. But there's one thing that you always told me is that I need to pay attention to me. And I just haven't. There's a lot going on outside of the coterie that I need to focus my attention on. And the zone that I'm building, it isn't just for me, it's for everyone and everything that walks under the sun and moon. And I'm real sick of this entitled bullshit. You know, we all gotta have a place that we can come to vent our fears, our frustrations, lay down our defenses and have a drink or a tussle. A place that we can blow off steam and find ourselves as equals. We got a lot of support and backing in Chicago that we didn't have prior. And this is a dream that I need to see to fruition. And I gotta thank you, Dakota, because without you, I would have never put myself into any position to do that.
So, yeah, you're not gonna be around for a while.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna be around for what's necessary and be there for when you need me. But I think it's time that I gotta push my emotions to the side. It's made me weird and out of control. And I really like control. Really like feeling like I'm in control.
Well, Oliver Hopkins, I have never stopped you from doing what you wanted to. And if it means I get to see that baby face smile, then do what you want to do.
Yeah. Thank you.
And since you're not going to be around for a while, but you are around tonight, gear up. We're going to a fucking party. And the loud ones are going to come knocking on the door of Elysium.
And so then you all go and finish getting ready. Sorry, Bub's got a power washing or some construction. That's why he's keeping himself muted in case those are curious why there's no response right now. Everybody finishes prepping for Elysium. You expect this to be a rather busy one, especially if the condemning and punishment of the once sheriff is the headlining entertainment for tonight. And as you approach a familiar theater where the three of you were once brought for your own punishments many years ago, this same theater greets you again. And the one who once brought you that punishment now is the one to receive it while you, the audience, enjoy. And as you enter, the rooms are the theater itself is already bustling. Kindred shoulder to shoulder sitting down, others chatting, much busier than most. Most of the time it's key figures that show up, but now it seems even some of the riffraff have filed their way in. Those kindred that you have never seen before and some faces that you may have only seen once or twice. Can I get a wits awareness from the three of you? Eva with the
What the hell? Oh, I rolled 2 10s. Damn.
Yeah, you rolled 3 10s.
Oh, I rolled 3 10s.
So you did a clean
this
crit.
is Ava's jungle, y'all.
Right? This is absolutely Ava's
I rolled
world
a
right here.
2. I rolled a 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dakota with a 2 and Ollie with the 2. First, we'll start with Ava, because Ava, you see everyone of note. As your eyes scan about and you are looking for the ones to keep note of, there's Jackson and Sovereign and Of course, over by the stage, the entire Primogen Council seems to be there. Even Sun, the newest member who's joined recently. Rose, the gang girl, seems to be missing. Rosa, she's not amongst the crew. But more interestingly, the kindreds, the kindred that you catch as your eyes scan, and of course, not to overpass Nero, Brett, and many of the gang of Toreador that you're well aware of. But there is a familiar looking kindred that was described to you, and I truly do not remember if you've seen them, though I believe Dakota has. A tall man with long, straight hair, sunglasses on, even in this theater, with dim night, a trench coat, brown, that runs the length of his knees, seems to simply be standing amongst the crowd a bit in the distance, leaning up against a wall, quietly observing the entire room. You catch him just with a moment of recognition as your eyes continue.
I would elbow Dakota, be like, "Hey, didn't you meet that guy?"
And as she points out, and your eyes meet there too, you do recognize.
Didn't you meet that guy once?
Oh, tonight. Yeah, I guess I did. Tonight's gonna be interesting. Beckett's here.
And as it's pointed out, Ollie, you two also see. But Ollie, as you're looking around as well, you catch all the familiar names, the most important. Same with you, Dakota. Obviously, you see Bella and the Primogen Council. And you also noticing, Dakota and Ollie, that Rose does not seem to be amongst the gathering of the Primogen over there. Snitch isn't in the immediate gathering, Ollie, but as your gaze continues, you actually do see Snitch not too far away, standing in a corner sort of behind the Primogen Council, observing them chattering. Close enough where if he wished to interject, he would be heard, but far enough away where he's not part of the immediate circle of conversation happening. You do not see Rudy amongst the crowd, however. And both of you do see Jackson, but you, most importantly, Ollie, see a face you've only heard of, one that you've met briefly in a time between season 1 and season 2 that originally bankrolled you. You see Ballard is also here. He's sitting in a large couch, obscenely. This man is an obscenely large man to the point of comic book levels of hilarity. It's almost as though this Ventru looks as though a Nosferatu deformity kind of happened to him when he was embraced. He is just, and he sat on this couch, taking up the entire thing with a huge cigar chomped between his lips. As there, he's flanked by Jackson on one side, Sovereign in front of him, and a few other Ventru that you've seen about. Everybody seems to be at this Elysium, one way or another.
This is gonna be spicy. Everybody gets the news.
Where's Rosa?
I'm sorry, where's who? I'm sorry, I coughed. I couldn't hear.
No, you're
She's
good.
in
Where's
character.
Rosa?
I haven't seen her. I don't see her up there. But that guy is the new Malkavian, and I point out Sun.
You see this very clean-shaven, young face, blonde-haired, blue-eyed gentleman who stands amongst them. And while the twins were always well presented, there was always an awkwardness about them. But Sun carries himself like a gentleman. Just the way you watch as he moves and carries himself. He carries himself like a Ventru. Let's just kind of put it that way.
He's a bit different than the twins, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree.
Have you chatted with him?
I basically just said hi. Introductions. But I don't know where the other I don't know where Rosa is.
I have a bad feeling about that.
I do too. Yeah.
Does the coterie linger on the outsides of the crowd? What do we see the coterie do once you've all stepped in and you've kind of scanned the area and you understand the audience here is any and all names of note? Of course, you don't see every kindred here. The Anarchs aren't sending their biggest names and the like here. But Most within the Camarilla.
Jackson?
Jackson is here.
Damien,
you see him. He's
and the
over by
crew?
Ballard. He's over by Ballard. And whom?
Damien and Baby Course, they're all here too?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
They're all here.
I say we check in with Jackson. Get a vibe.
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea.
Who makes their way over? Dakota and Ava, does Ollie go as well? Or what do we see Ollie doing? I know you're kind of staying quiet for practical purposes, IRL, but what is Ollie doing right now? Ollie will okay, sounds good. So Ollie you see Ollie just, as you guys walk off, Ollie just makes a gesture for you to go. And Ollie, as you step in and you begin to take a seat and people start to take notice that the loud ones have arrived, and Ava and Dakota start making their way around, eyes linger on Ollie. There's a lot of double takes initially when they look over and then see him again. Not simply because he bears his maw, but Ollie has always presented himself with a veneer or something covering his face. And to see the loud ones and then to see Ollie with that toothy smile, so to speak.
I think
Draws
Dakota,
eyes.
if she notices Ollie stops, and that's the reason, Ollie has done this for her before when we went in through this restaurant. She kind of backpedals and goes back to Ollie, and she's like, you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. And then Dakota will rejoin Ava, whether or not Ollie joins, but she needed to check.
Just yeah, she checks in, and as he's just kind of, I'm fine. The two make their way through the crowd, bustling amongst the way, eventually catching the eyes of Brett, who attempts to have conversation immediately with the two of you. I'm not sure how much time you would actually give Brett if he even came by. I imagine very little to none, but
I'd give him a few minutes, yeah.
If you give him
I want to know what he has to say, Mathis. What
he
does Brett
simply
have
walks
to say?
over. Yeah, you are. Yeah, he's my favorite person to ever become mentally. As he walks over, he smiles widely at the two of you, but his attention is immediately over to Ava, and he's like, "Hello, gorgeous," and he reaches for your hand.
I will gladly give it.
And he kisses. He takes a deep bow and kisses the ring very intently before he places your hand. He goes, "Hey, Dakota."
What?
What? Hello.
No, I don't get a kiss on the hand.
And he looks over to Ava and he's like, what is it with that clan and not understanding what general politeness is?
Oh, come on, Brett. You can give my friend a proper introduction or greeting as well.
I said,
Come
hello,
on, Brett.
Dakota. Hello.
Kiss my hand.
I wouldn't dare. I just brushed my teeth.
Oh, and who was it that has no politeness? And I brush him off, kick him on
And
the
you see
shoulder a little
Dakota
bit as I push past him.
And he gets knocked back for a minute. So rude. Perhaps she has coming what's about to happen tonight. And he smiles and gives you like a little wink.
I will ignore that comment. And by the way, Brett, is Annabelle having any events coming up soon?
He smiles and he's like, I believe so, but rumor has it she wants to give you a personal invitation.
Oh, really? Well,
he chuckles. He goes, she and nearly everyone else has seen the way you look at Nero.
Oh God, is it? I see things have not changed among our circles, and people talk very quickly. But it's fine. Let them talk. I actually enjoy it.
He looking, just kind of takes in what you're saying, and he nods like, well, if you start making regular appearances at Annabelle's parties, perhaps you too will have influence amongst the Rose Garden themselves.
Well, I look forward to it then, and I look forward to her personal invitation. I'll be happy to be there.
Does Ava turn to leave at that moment?
Yeah.
As you turn to walk away, he's like, you have no interest in knowing why Coda might be a little upset tonight?
I turn
Suit
back.
Yourself. And he like goes to put his hand up and say, suit yourself as you turn back.
What is the word on the street, Brett?
He brings you closer with a couple of fingers. And as you get close, he comes in your ears. He goes, whispers are, the gangrel no longer have any influence over the city.
I had feared that would be the case.
Well, just rumors, of course. And he stands back up, and we can't take any truth out of that, can we?
Of course not. Of course.
As somebody walks by with a couple of drinks, he plucks 2 off of the tray and hands one to you.
Take it.
To an excellent night of overdue vengeance, for lack of a better word.
Cheers, darling.
And he cheers your glass and he drinks. And we see Ava spin and walk back to Dakota as Dakota reaches Jackson prior to Ava getting there. As you make your way over to this kind of little venture spot, Dakota, you see, as I described on the couch, Ballard, a face you have never seen before. So perhaps you may not even know who he is off the top of your head. However,
but he looks important.
He looks important. He's having words with Jackson and Sovereign, while a couple of other Venturer are around as well. Jackson, at the moment of you arriving, already seemed to have finished up most of his conversation, though he seems to be paying attention to what's being said. But his eyes gaze and break from the conversation every so often. And as Dakota gets nearer and closer, he catches eyes with you. He leans down and whispers something into Sovereign's ear before he simply nods. And Kevin Jackson breaks away from the crowd and walks a few feet away to open space for you and him.
Oh. I wouldn't have walked right up on them, but I would have kind of stood to the side.
In the area, yeah. He would have caught
area.
eyes with you, leaned in, and then broke away and then ushered you over.
I hope you're having a good evening.
So far, rather uneventful, but I can't complain. How can I help you this evening, Dakota?
I look for nothing. Seems there is a frigid bite in the air.
Elysium's called. Typically don't bear good news. Not always, anyway. And, well, you'd be hard-pressed to find a kindred who has not heard of the sheriff's misdeeds.
And you think that is all that happens tonight? Justice for his misdeeds.
He thinks for a moment. He doesn't seem like he's hiding anything, and I mean he has a suspicious look on his face. More that his eyes break from yours. He looks to the side. He kind of squints his eyes for a moment and looks back. There are more kindred here than I would expect, even for a punishment of this size. I do expect more, though I don't know what. I and Bella are not particularly fond of one another, I think you can assume.
That seems to be a growing theme.
He nods.
Well, we're here if you need us.
Before you walk away, how are you? I heard of the assault.
Well, it wasn't the first. And since nobody believed me the first 2 times, I guess I'm doing all right after this one.
They were fools to not listen the first time. You served the Camarilla for a decade.
It seems that much of this is built on fools.
He does not answer. He does not shake his head. He does not nod his head. He simply allows that saying to fall.
That being said, not all of us are. And the great thing about a fool is they constantly underestimate the ones who are smarter than them.
A running theme amongst elder kindred.
One wonders how they get to be elders then. At what point do they forget?
A conversation. Myself and Cretius. I've had many a time. An interesting philosophical debate.
Isn't it the irony of everlasting life? Is that in the end, you're too much of a fool to actually live it. He offered night classes. He didn't seem very fond of me, so he'll enjoy me, I'm sure, sitting in one of his desks.
Be wary. Cretius is a good man. but he's a ruthless one. Those classes are for fledglings, and those who do not pass do not leave his class.
I wasn't talking about his kindred classes.
He lets that sit.
Thank you for probably what is the only polite conversation I'll have this evening.
And thank you, Miss Rain, for proving yourself time and again.
You know where to find me if you need me, Jackson.
He does nod at that as he brings his hands from his pockets, and as the conversation seems to come to a close, he rejoins the Ventru by his left.
Dakota hits the shadows and scoops around to Beckett.
My apologies, Ava. Did you want to have a conversation with Jackson yourself? Because you would have time to catch him before he joins the Ventru.
No, but I would probably want to quickly mention to Dakota something.
Sure. As Dakota peels away, I imagine you arrived and kind of just listened in on the conversation, and Jackson would have seen and acknowledged and not worried about you being there so much. But as Dakota leaves and Jackson seems to rejoin the Ventru without even, acknowledging you so much, Ava, you're able to grab Dakota for a moment before she makes her way over to where Beckett is.
Hey, Dakota.
Tired of Brett already?
Yes, that lasted all of 3 minutes and I was already done.
Oh, probably like his actual sex life.
Oh, gee. Damn, that's pretty good.
Sorry, am I picking up on that Toreador humor yet?
You would fit in so well. You really would.
Oh, I think Brett would disagree.
There's a bit of word among the Rose Garden about what is to be announced tonight, and I just wanted to give you a heads up before all the ceremonies start. The concerns of Rosa not being here is probably for the reason we're thinking. What the prince had told me a few weeks prior. I just wanted to give you a heads up before.
I want you to know, Ava, if she unseats the gangrel tonight, she's asked for war.
I know.
So if I manage to quell my beast, just know I will watch her burn.
I know. And I will be there to help. And I hold out my pinky like, hey.
Dakota grabs it, maybe a little forcefully, because you can tell she's kind of shaking. She's a little upset.
Yeah.
So, just...
We'll keep it in tonight.
Bella may want the gangrel out of the Camarilla, but this fucking gangrel will continue to stand right here and remind her she cannot get rid of us.
I know. And you're right. She's petty as hell.
The problem with petty people, Ava, they're foolish.
I agree.
Now, I'm gonna go talk to somebody that's maybe not a fool.
Yes.
Just as you turn around, because this is the kind of person I am.
Good doing.
The lights dim, almost thematically. And on stage steps Bella. She is in a pitch black dress that hugs her curves perfectly, with large high heels and a hair done up in this gorgeous kind of bun that lets wavy hair trickle down the backside afterward. And as she steps onto stage and she turns to spin to the audience, she gives the audience a few minutes to settle down, as there's still lots of conversation happening. Do we see Ava and Dakota head back to their seats?
Yeah, I would look for Ollie and sit by him.
Yep, you can find Ollie simply, and so same for you.
Our
and
seats with tags that say the loud ones.
Reserved for the loud ones. We'll proudly sit.
Oh, God. Front row center, please.
Yes.
As you make your way over and sit yourselves down, and Bella takes a moment to allow time for things to silence themselves, she eventually clears her throat and begins to speak loudly enough for the theater, those within the Kindred Theater to hear. And she opens with a simple greeting. Good evening, my fellow kindred, those who serve our city and those who stand aside, standing peacefully in our Elysium this evening. I appreciate all of you arriving and staying for this rather important night for our Camarilla and the stability of our government here in Chicago. And she lets that kind of sit for a few minutes as others lean in and begin to speak with one another. Do we see the loud ones kind of lean in and start speaking and saying anything to each other? I saw Ava like nodding no, but no. Okay,
I feel like we would just give each other
Dakota
the eyes.
never breaks eye contact with Bella. She never takes her eyes off of that woman.
Can I get a
watching the two?
Yeah. Can I get a wits awareness from the three of you, please, as Bella speaks?
Okay. Okay, 2 successes for
None of you can tell right now whether the shadow is moving or not within sync of her movements. Not the successes that I need right now. Peace in Chicago has always been my priority, and the priority of the council, both appointed and voted in, those of new and elder seats. And I have failed you. I have put trust in a sheriff that had served Chicago well for many decades. But through his services, one can find their ego at the surface, to find themselves invincible to their own actions and decisions because they believe themselves the law. And I allowed that trust to carry too far. And for that, I do truly apologize. And when she says that, her eyes gaze across the audience, but of course, they find Dakota, and they lock with Dakota for a brief few moments longer than anyone else here in the crowd. What do we see Dakota do?
I bet she doesn't fucking move. She's like a stone statue. She doesn't blink. She doesn't back down. She just stares at Bella. I want to see where she's going with this.
Her eyes don't linger much longer before they break away, and the muttering stops. A few people getting a little louder, but nothing that's really caused anybody to shout. With that in mind, for the crimes and assault against multiple kindred in our city, and an inability to keep peace here in Chicago, Sheriff Hodges has been removed from his station. There's again a little bit more chatter now amongst, and a couple people shouting, though it's hard to hear what they're saying, like bullshit or why. So a few people end up clapping. A lot of people start hollering and hooting. The sheriff is in a particularly liked position, so you hear a lot more. There's a positive response from such an announcement before she continues. However, it would be foolish of me to ignore the decades of service the sheriff has put into our city and all of the good he has done in establishing peace in Chicago for the time of his reign. So his own life will be spared. His head shall remain seated upon his shoulders, but he will be exiled, no longer welcome in the city. Some of you may see that as a death sentence, but I truly hope our dear Hodges does make it to another city safely and perhaps can start a new life there to redeem himself for the crimes committed in Chicago. And she lets that once again sit on the audience. Now, go ahead, please.
I look to Dakota and see how she's doing. I would immediately turn.
Not great. She's not doing great.
Does she look like she's about to like...
She's not at the point of frenzy yet, but that was really not what she was ready for. She's pretty pissed about that.
That's not what...
There's a bit of a mixed reaction that comes from the crowd as well. It's a few people are happy enough with that punishment. A few people are wanted more of a show. You hear some people like, why did I come?
Yeah,
you know, kind of thing. But that's quickly quieted down as you know, this is the prince continues kind of speaking. But beforehand, was there anything else that Dakota wanted to say? She's just really just grilling at this point. Okay, cool.
It's going great. It's going great, everybody. It's going great. Bella's nailing it. Go, Bella, go.
Dear God.
Now, in order to continue to ensure there is trust between myself and the council, I will not appoint a new sheriff immediately. I will be speaking with the council over the coming nights and weeks, and through discourse and diplomacy, we as a group will decide who the next sheriff will be. In the interim, that only leaves me with one hound. And so, tonight I wish to name a second. She looks to the side and she makes a motion, and out steps a young girl. She looks to be in her early 20s, maybe late teens. She has blonde hair and 2 pigtails, white skin, and dark eyes. She has a jean kind of vest over what seems to be a halter top and long ripped up jeans with sneakers. She walks over to the side of Bella as Bella continues. This kindred has served me well in the past. Alexa Santos will be a hound here in the city of Chicago from tonight moving forward, joining Damien. 2 hounds to carry out justice, while myself and our council discuss who the sheriff will be. There's not much chatter. You can actually hear behind you saying, "Who the hell is that? Who the hell is she?" A bit whispers, but not many people shouting or objecting. Before long, Alexa Santos moves off of the stage and leaves. Does the coterie seem to react to that? We always catch the kind of a coterie reaction to the announcements, more or less, as the camera kind of spins back. Silence and interest, shall we say then?
Good, nothing. Not for this.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Furthermore, representation in the city of Chicago has always been something I have strived for. And in that, we must make adjustments to our Primogen Council. The first and most pained announcement is that the gangrel within the city are terribly low in number. Representation on the council no longer seems necessary. And so tonight, Rosa is removed from the Primogen Council, and the gangrel seat is removed entirely for the time being. There is a dead silence across the audience. Not many people seem to care, at least not right now. But then the camera catches the coterie, and we zoom in closer and catch Dakota. How's Dakota doing at this?
I imagine she is clawing the wooden arms of this chair.
Can we hear, like, as the camera gets close?
You probably
can we
hear
that?
it like...
Continuing in the tradition of representation, fair, honest representation, it would be foolish of me to ignore the growing number of Alhambra here in Chicago, those that resided here initially, and those I have allowed in over the course of years. In that, I wish to seat a new member of the Primogen Council from a clan relatively new to the Camarilla, the Alhambra. And as she says that, out step a few people. First and most recognizable to the coterie is Mr. Vitale. He quietly walks on stage with a man by his side. He's bald with a kind of chin-strap beard, 2 earrings on each side. He has a swirly kind of sun-looking tattoo that's on his forehead and kind of crawls backward, and he's in very casual attire. One could consider almost like a biker look initially. A kindred you do not recognize and a name that you are unfamiliar with. Those 2 walk out first. Then last, another woman steps out. She has short black hair, crimson red lips, a gorgeous full neck necklace that wraps around her entire neck, and she wears a strapless black dress that is as flattering as the one that Bella wears, though for some reason Bella just seems to wear it a little bit better. And as she stands out, those three all step out. They stand kind of around Bella on her left and on her right, the girl on her right and the others on her left. And Bella continues to gaze upon the crowd. Now, how is Dakota looking in this moment as they continue to pour out?
I don't think Dakota, I think if Dakota moves, it will absolutely let the beast free. That she is just like, you can hear her teeth like grinding and the nails like just digging into this like wooden arm. This is.
Would Ava be able to hear that? And would Ollie be able to hear the nails
Oh,
grinding?
yeah.
Okay.
I am. Oh, God. Yeah. I imagine so.
Okay. Does Ava do anything? Does she just kind of watch?
Ava just puts like a hand on Dakota's arm as she's scratching, and like a reassured like pat, though I know that doesn't really do anything. Like Ava just kind of makes it known that she's right there with her.
That's fine with me.
Yeah. I also am curious what the reaction of the audience is as these La Sombra are being brought out. Do people...
As a Sombra are coming out, while it's still relatively quiet, there is a growing grumbling amongst the crowd behind, though not many seem to say much. If you look over to...
I'm curious with like the Ventru.
I was to say, if you look over to the Ventru and you see Jackson, can I get a wits insight check? It's kind of hard from here, but a wits insight, you all can make a wits insight check as you look over to the Ventru.
I don't think Dakota does.
I
think she's currently daydreaming about beating the life out of Bella.
3 successes.
If you would like to incur a penalty onto Dakota on her roll, you're welcome to.
I mean, it's not a very good one.
Yeah, that's fine. Go for it.
Anyways, I don't know if that worked. They rolled a 1.
Okay, so the only one who rolled above a 1 is Ava. Ava, it's easy as you look over and the way they're carrying themselves and the way they're not truly paying too much attention to the stage in the moment, the kind of constant like low level chatter you have and the way they're carrying themselves, they look pissed. There's a lot of the Venture are very good at carrying a poker face in a lot of ways, but right now they don't seem to be terribly trying to hide their disdain for what's happening on stage. However, they keep to themselves. They do not shout.
Okay.
That's all that. Sorry. Other than that, is there any other interactions between the coterie, or do we move forward? Move forward. Okay. In that, a new seat on the Primogen Council will be awarded to the La Sombra clan, and in that seat, Sierra Van Buris will sit. And she gestures to the woman on her right. There's a clapping, a very gentle clapping from the two La Sombra, or you assume La Sombra, Mr. Vitale and the other one anyway. Mr. Vitale does present himself continually as a Ventru. He still has that brooch and the like. There's a little gentle clapping and a couple other claps that come from scattered bits of the audience. If you look out, you can definitely see Rose is one of them. But you can't really find where the other clapping is coming from. And yeah, shadows, exactly. And from there, there is then some loud grumbling back, particularly that the La Sombra can't be trusted. There's their history shows that they are willing to what are they gonna just betray us just like they did their old clans, and a lot of that. How can we trust them? How can we? But Bella very simply ignores it. She calls for silence a few times, rather aggressively, before people do kind of simmer down. My last check-in on Dakota with this. On this announcement, is there any, how is Dakota handling that?
You're muted, Dot.
I said, you really probably want me to frenzy roll, don't you, Mathis? Because
I'm leaving that up to you. I'm leaving that up to you.
She just unseated the gangrel to give it to the fucking La Sombra in the middle of an Elysium where she announced a new fucking hound. This is what's going through Dakota's mind right now. You could have given me that hound position back because I fucking deserved it. We, as the gangrel, fucking deserved it. And you gave it to the La Sombra and some pigtailed bitch I've never seen before that you say has served you well. Served you well? I think Dakota is like, ready to explode. She's gonna pop.
It's your call. Do you feel like Dakota would need a frenzy roll here? You need to beat 2. It's a 2 successes that I would need from
question. Okay, here's the question. How bad is it if Dakota just gets up and leaves?
It would not look good on you. But Elysium would not. The Elysium would not stop, and it's not like you would be punished for it. But it's rude as shit. But does Dakota care right now?
Does Dakota give a fuck?
Be true to Dakota in this moment.
Ava would once again like kind of squeeze her arm and say, "In time, Dakota, in time." But obviously Dakota can do what she wants. But Ava will just try to, reassure her of our end game and give her like a squeeze on the arm.
Dakota is like losing herself in her anger in the moment. You feel a gentle squeeze on your hand as Ava quietly leans over and simply says, "In time, Dakota, in time." How does Dakota react?
I don't think I'm gonna make it through this, Ava.
I know. It's painful. We're almost there, I think.
Painful! Ava says, and I think Dakota has to stand. Dakota stands, and her wrists are clenched.
And as Dakota quickly stands, what conversation was brought down as she was holding up her hand does go to a silence. And
as the only representative of the gangrel in this place, Dakota fucking stands. She looks around and makes eye contact with any fucking person that'll make eye contact with her, and
you get lots of eye contact as you're the only you stand in the middle of this, and Bella was calling for silence. She
stops at Bella. She turns and she leaves Elysium.
And where is Dakota going? Are you just getting
to the train yard to beat the shit out of a boxcar?
Are you giving into a compulsion right now?
I am, so that I don't do it in Elysium. I think she tears ass running. We see Dakota hit the ground and just like skateboard all the way. Oh, she's done with this bullshit. This is bullshit. This is all bullshit.
And the crowd watches. A few people after you start moving away, a lot of the crowd kind of ignores and goes back. But Bella intently watches as you leave and waits for you to go out the doors shut. And then obviously the camera on the outside sees Dakota slap the skateboard on the ground and just haul ass out. However, the camera shifts back into Elysium as the silence kind of settles back in. Bella looks back to the crowd and then looks over to Ollie and Ava. Do the loud ones need to tend to their friend?
You may continue.
And Ollie, sorry, go ahead, Ollie. I see you unmuted, so I hear nothing on the other side.
There's a pause before Ollie says, "Frustrations be vented in time, but face can only be lost so long. Let's make sure we don't lose any more respect tonight, Prince."
She nods to that and then looks over and says, "Well, I'll have your attention then. Miss Heloise, if you wouldn't mind staying after class." And she chuckles at that.
She said that in front of everybody?
Oh, yeah, in front of everybody.
Oh, shit, okay.
And she chuckles at that as there is an awkward laughter amongst some of them in the theater. And she looks back to the crowd. Well, on that then, that concludes our most serious of business this evening. Those who need to speak with me know who they are and can find me after Elysium is called. Until then, I wish you all a pleasant evening. Safe and quiet nights ahead. Good night, everybody. And on that, she does turn to leave the stage.
Ava.
Yeah?
If she tries to feed you the sheriff tonight.
Oh, God. I hope that doesn't happen.
Turn it down.
Like I turned down... I don't know if I can just turn that down. If I had turned down Cammy, I would have been dead.
There was a duty there that you felt obligated to.
Why did she do this to me?
Because she wants your body ready.
Ollie. If I don't make it out of this fucking meeting with the prince, just... I don't know, just... let Dakota know that I love her and I love you. And I'm sorry. This isn't the end. This isn't the end. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But if she does offer it to me, you want me to just say no?
Do you want me there? I'll do it. I don't want to do it, but I'll do it for you. I don't care what people view me as. My mask is down anyway.
I would appreciate you there, but if she allows it, I don't know. Our meetings are always private. I just don't know if I have the strength to do this.
I understand. I'm just going to be there and just call on me.
Okay.
Then the two of you stand and kind of separate. Where would Ollie go?
Ollie would probably first seek out Beckett.
As you look around, Beckett seems to be gone. Completely. However, as you are kind of seeking Beckett out, you do have Snitch call your name as you kind of get close within him, and you simply hear, Mr. Hopkins, the moment of your time.
I will go to him. Forgive me, they're still doing things out here?
That's fine.
So
I understand. If it pops up, we'll figure. Yeah, no worries. It's all good.
Okay. I'll go to the Primogen.
Snitch is just kind of standing nearby, watching you still as a corpse, as his eyes simply flit back and forth as you walk closer.
Snitch.
Is Miss Rain going to be all right?
I think she'll be fine in time. It's a unfortunate series of events. From everything that I've gathered, the Gangrel have already lost most support. Pretty much everywhere. This was a personal dig. There was no point in that. Personal opinion, of course. How can I help you, Snitch?
He nods. And when he says, how can I help you? He shakes his head. How can I help you, Sir Hopkins?
I assume that Rudy got back to you.
He did.
Well, I'd heard about Rowan, but I wanted to report in about the problem that we encountered. You know what I'm talking about. I heard it. I heard him.
Yes, I was not successful, unfortunately.
What's the plan, Snitch?
A few contingencies, but nothing certain. In the moment, we don't know where he's gone.
What do you think his goal is?
Honestly, to wipe us out, I'm sure.
He had to be, what, 90, 100 years old?
117.
Snitch, he's not long for the world. He's not like us, right?
They are different like us, certainly.
Snitch, I want you to teach me everything you know about them. And I know that you know a lot about them. You've had a lot of time.
What is it about them that draws you?
We're stuck with them regardless. We're twin parasites on the body that is Chicago.
They would argue differently.
And I'm sure most kindred would argue separately as well, wouldn't they?
The lupine. Ooh. Didn't mean for that to happen. The lupine themselves find themselves as a cure to us being a cancer.
Yeah, well, white blood cells make up majority of the issue in so many incidences. They can try to purge and purify, but misguided intentions. How about sometimes we can just guide our problems?
We will speak more about them then.
I think so, for the benefit of not only Kindred, but I make sure that I catch eyes with him, but for the Nos.
Some would call your ambitions foolish.
Ambitions are what they are. We play a heavy hand, lay our cards on the table, and, well, something about ambition helps you either falter immediately or rise to the top.
I am happy to speak more with you about the lupines then.
Who's looking out for my son, Snitch?
Do you mean like looking for him? Like
Yeah.
looking for him? A few Nosferatu are on the case. At least at the time being. I have Flick looking in the moment.
Good. Flick is diligent. Good. I hope that I'll be told as soon as anything is discovered or found.
Can I get a manipulation subterfuge from you as you talk about your son?
Yeah. Sure. You know what? I'm gonna rouse the blood. Manipulation, subterfuge.
Ooh, I critted.
Oh, then I can't beat that unless I crit.
Oh, let's see if you crit. You do not crit.
I got 3.
Okay.
That's pretty good for Ollie, but
No, yeah, it happens. As you kind of speak, Mr. Hopkins. When I've said to you, my priority is our clan and those amongst it, keep them safe. I mean that.
I understand. There's something you also taught me, Snitch. Regardless of how keen you are on picking up some truths or lies, you taught me to keep it secret, keep it safe. Let's just say I'm stealing my resolve.
We will continue to look for him until it is certainly fruitless or we stumble upon him.
Thank you.
He simply nods.
I'll stand by him until he's ready to leave. I'll just stand there.
And where does Ava go?
Ava
Just wait
will.
by,
Yeah,
wait
she'll
by.
hang around for a bit, and once it clears out, she'll head back to the prince.
People begin to clear out pretty quickly afterward. Not a lot of people hang out and chatter. The Ventru themselves in particular kind of leave immediately after Elysium is called. They scatter from the Elysium, leave at different exits, and all go their separate ways. Much of the Toreador, while they mingle amongst each other, also leave pretty quickly. The Malkavians linger for a little bit. And it's actually those who hang around actually notice that Alexa, the new hound, seems to hang around near Sun and some of the other Malks in the area as they have their conversation. But eventually they too also disperse. Damien seems to stick near the prince pretty closely, however. Otherwise, the area does clear out. And Snitch does go to leave shortly after it seems that most of the other kindred have already left. Do you follow Snitch, Ollie? And do you leave with him?
I'm gonna stick around specifically for Ava.
Yeah, I kind of like make eye contact with Ollie after everybody leaves, and I nod to him. And I head in.
Okay. Before we go to that scene, however, the camera does cut back to the train yard. What is it as Dakota arrives at the train yard? What is it that we see Dakota do?
Oh. I think it looks at first like a lot of aggression and anger. She just punches things and rips claws down metal steel, and then it's like she kind of just doesn't have that fight in her to keep going. And I think we see her kind of fucking give up. And
so only like a few minutes of like that rage lasts before she eventually
and it's
just
like what's the fucking point, right? And she kind of gives up, and I think we end up seeing her like in the corner of one of these empty train cars, and we may actually hear Dakota like crying, like properly like letting go a little bit.
And you would cry as you cried, tears of blood. And as you kind of go to wipe them away, you can feel how thick it is. You can actually feel the blood smearing against your own skin as you do so. And
she, like, no matter how hard, she tries to not, it just gets worse and more smeared, and she gives up. She gives up.
And does she kind of just plop herself up against something, and we just kind of let the camera linger on that shot for a while. A little bit of light from a nearby kind of a train yard light is illuminating just a little bit through one of an open door that we can catch Dakota through briefly, and we see her plopping down and wiping away the tears as she's swearing fuck as she, it gets worse and worse, and eventually, her arms just kind of get thrown up in the air and they hit the ground, and we do see and watch as Dakota does, for more or less, as Dot has put it, give up. And in that, tears crawl down her face and the camera pulls up. And I actually want to go on break in that shot. I know we're about 30 minutes early, but the next bit, there's not a lot of scenes that I want to do, and there's not a good breaking point up ahead. So as we can hear and see like the music fade out, and we can watch as Dakota gets smaller and smaller in the camera shot, that's when we fade to black. And we'll be back in about 8 minutes to continue the finale of season 2. Silence the Shadows, everybody. We'll be back. Hello, everybody. I'm back. I know you missed me. Time to ruin lives. Okay. Can I get a rouse check for the following evening, actually? Bella, for you, Ava, just so you know, you hang around at the Elysium for a while. However, Bella puts you up at a suite and wishes to speak with you the following evening. And she decides to wait to have a discussion with you until then.
Okay, that's fine.
So everybody rouse check. Ollie is at 0. So Ollie gains a hunger. Dakota does not. Ava does not. Where would Dakota spend the night tonight? Boat?
Oy vey. Yeah, she'd probably go home a bit defeated.
Sure.
Actually, no. Bella gave her that boat. Why the fuck would she stay in that boat? Hell no. She stays in the train yard. Something she earned herself. Yeah. No.
Do you
for sure. No,
you meld with Earth then? I imagine then to keep it safe. We see as the sun is on the crest of rising and realizing it's either now stay in the train yard or become dust. We see Dakota kind of stand up, and very soon after, this Earth swallows her in this water-like manner. And as she settles in, just the Earth around her is just bumped up like a centimeter or so, and you rest safely for the evening underground. The following evening, Ava is going to be rather preoccupied. Dakota and Ollie will have an opportunity, however, to meet up at a movie theater or what have you, if the two of you would like to gather, imagining that you would expect to see Ava and be curious what the prince wanted to speak with her about last night, only to come together to the movie theater and find that Ava has not arrived.
That doesn't bode well.
Yeah, no. I had some suspicions. I have a feeling that, at least according to what we were told last time, remember with Cammy, right? She was I just have a feeling that Ava's gonna be fed the sheriff.
Bella would be a dumbass to try to feed the sheriff to Ava.
She's just gonna flex power.
Oh, she did a very fucking good job of that last night.
She did a great job of making an ass of herself. It may have been visibly enough for you there, but you didn't see some of the looks that I saw. She lost not only face but respect there last night.
Well, I hope it was worth it for her.
How are you feeling, aside from all that? Aside from, I'm gonna guess, pretty shitty.
10 years. Ollie. And for her to stand up there and apologize with fucking sweet words, knowing she didn't fucking mean it. Not even a little bit. She's pissed that I took her sheriff. She could have seated me as hound. She didn't. She didn't mention that part where she failed over and over and over when I told her sheriff was a problem. I don't even want to think about what she said after I left. And then she takes the one thing she knows I fucking care about, and she gives it to the La Sombra. Why do I even try anymore, Ollie? I bound myself to her. I became her fucking hound. I let the sheriff beat on me. All I wanted was to give the gangrel place.
As long as you're still kicking, you still can,
Yeah.
right?
Sure, with what? What do I have now? An empty train yard? A boat with her name on it?
Just sink it. Sink that shit. It was your house. It's not your home.
I don't even have a place at Elysium anymore. Even if I show up, what good does it do? Who listens to the gangrel if they have a problem? She worked really hard to keep us out of this city, and it fucking worked.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Just means you're back at ground zero.
I'm always at ground zero, Ollie.
We are, yeah. We are. You know, there is one small upside. Underdog stories are real good. Everybody loves them. Additionally, the only thing you have left to lose is your life. You have everything to gain. Either way, what I'm getting at is I'm not going to give up. And you made it tougher stuff than that.
I'm tired of taking a beating, Ollie.
I feel that.
You know, like... Yeah.
What are you going to do about it, though?
I don't know yet. I don't know. It doesn't seem like anything I've done thus far has really fucking worked.
I don't know. I think you've been pretty instrumental with the successes around you. You've come far. You've come so far. You're a figure to look up to, regardless of whether or not you believe it.
And yet I'm still living in a train yard. I'm still the one who got judged last night for leaving so I didn't frenzy. Dakota, Rain, is still wrong. I will assure that her existence from now until she burns is miserable. And when she's burning, I want her to know that the gangrel are still fucking here. And she's not. She will be a footnote in my fucking story. Not me and hers.
I believe that. Her decline is already starting. She's lost so much.
And yet she still takes.
That's all you can do when you're starting to fall. You reach out and grab those around you to see who else you can tear down. We've seen this story 1,000,000 times, and we'll see it 1,000,000 more. She's panicking, drawing at straws, tearing at those around her. And you know what? She's trying to use you as a pedestal to make herself feel better. She's lording her position. Girl, you ain't got nothing to worry about. She's on her way out. She knows it.
But she's not there yet. And what everybody in that room still doesn't fucking know is the shadow that follows her. Bella's so much more powerful than anybody in that room knows. Except for the three of us. And Jackson, I guess.
I think there are a lot more people that are aware of the situation, but they're afraid to talk about the elephant in the room because they know what it means. She's not been that quiet, Dakota. People are starting to take notice.
So what am I supposed to do? I can't get the permissions I need. I don't have any representation in case shit goes bad.
You do, as all kindred do. You break the rules, and you keep it a secret. You cover up eyes that could see it. You silence the voices that could speak of it. And you write your own story. Your meeting's coming. Your time is coming. Bella's fall, predetermined.
Nothing's predetermined, Ollie. If that's the case, then I wouldn't be where I am. I don't believe in predetermined bullshit. I'm tired of lying and working in the shadows. That's how they got rid of the gangrel to begin with. You know that, you're Nosferatu. They keep us just on the outside.
They keep out what they're afraid of.
So what if I don't hide in the fucking shadows anymore? Bella wants war? I'll bring it to her fucking table. I want her to not be able to ignore me or mine. I want her to be so sorry. Really sorry. And I want her to wish she could go back and do it differently. She will regret the day that she wanted to punish Dakota Rain.
There's a lot more at play. I feel
Nothing that I gotta
sorry.
be involved in.
I feel sorry for Bella. To feel so powerful amongst other kindred. Just to know that there's something bigger, something badder that's pressing her down. Even when she sleeps, she's about this tall. Can you imagine that? That someone who's in torpor is controlling her every ambition, goal, move, dream.
I can, because Bella did it to me. I can, Ollie. I know what it feels like. And in the end, I still chose to leave it. Even knowing that Bella could have taken my head. Better yet, I left her twice. Knowing each time she could have taken my head. So you say all I have left is my life. But for 30 years, I have lived, waking up every day, not caring about my life. Living with it like a gamble. For the first time, I fucking care.
Good. Good. You're paving a way. You're blazing a path. But it's hard. You're trudging through mud. You're walking through the bog, right? The ick. It's gonna feel like you're walking through molasses. It's gonna be hard. Especially with her on your ass the entire way. But think about the people that are walking behind you, that are following up. Even if you can't see, right? Even if you can't see the gangrel, they're gonna follow you. I can at the very least think of one person that's gonna look up to every move you make. And it ain't me. I'm telling you right now. It's Hannah. You made a difference in that little girl's life.
For how long? Till she turns into the monsters that hate us? I'm only biding time with Hannah. I'm not stupid.
Look, there's a lot to be mad at constantly. Constantly. So you can...
There's just construction happening on your build now.
So you can...
It looks like
venture funds are starting to hit.
Yeah,
in the-
Sovereign's getting to work
You
here
have
in
some
the
conversation. You got some construction happening across the street.
What I think you should be doing is using that energy. Use that shit. Let your fire burn bright. And bring it to a doorstep when you got your army. Because I know it's going to be a fight. You know it's going to be a fight. She's going to be kicking and screaming the entire way. Use it.
I have been. I'm just tired now, Ollie. I probably could have set through tonight had she taken the sheriff's head, but she let that motherfucker walk. I didn't get cake or party hats or to open presents or any of that tonight.
I got cake. We've got party hats. We've got wine. And right now it's just me and you. Ain't nobody else here. Whatever you want me to do. You want me to do a little dance? I ain't afraid. Girl, me and you, come on. I'll put on some music, we can dance, and just forget about shit for a little bit. Or, I got you back. It'll be a big ball of brooding. I'm down for it. Just tell me how, right now, I can support you.
I don't know. I want his head and I want her head, and neither of those things can I have.
How about we start with cake then?
How about you do me a real favor?
Anything.
For 10 years, you claimed you loved me. Or at least for the last 2. But you don't ever touch me.
You're right.
So before you run off to your skyscrapers and your business, you owe me. You want to make me forget? Then go ahead, babyface.
Ollie undoes the zipper on his hoodie. I will. And then we'll have cake?
Sure. Then we'll have cake.
Take the scene away, Mathis.
And as that last line trickles out, we fade to black. And we pick up with Ava as an elevator dings and the elevator doors roll open as 2 grand oaken doors are already wide. And Bella stands in the center of the room, half done with a glass of wine. Personal security usher you inside, but much like the last time, none sit in her room. The door is shut, and you can audibly hear the lock click as your clicking heels turn to muffled footsteps on rug. And Bella smiles widely at you. My apologies for having to move our meeting to tonight. Last night took more time than I initially planned. I hope you slept well.
I did. Thank you for the lovely suite last night.
I am aware that your own apartment here in the tower is comfortable, but none can truly match that of staying in such a grand suite here.
I very much appreciate it.
And did you have your fill? You were offered food last night. A person was offered to you to feed from.
Yes, I would have then. I will take full advantage.
And so bring your hunger to where it would be.
Okay.
Smiles. I'm glad. How is Dakota? And she gives you a pitied look as she turns and begins walking over to her desk, facing the grand windows, staring out into the city skyline of Chicago.
Dakota is resilient.
That she is, she says as she places the glass on the desk and continues to stride past. You can now hear the distant honking horns and all the glorious different lights that scatter across the city like its own personal starry sky.
You put on quite the Elysium last night, my prince. The announcements were, seemed to be somewhat well received.
Yes, all rather expected announcements, I imagine. As she then turns in to face you, her back to the window. And how are you then, Miss Heloise?
Oh, doing all right. Our coterie has been keeping busy, of course, in our new domain. Our haven is coming along very nicely.
As have all of you.
Yes.
Impressive. Always impressive, the loud ones. Are you nervous?
No, I'm quite all right. I smile with a kind of lie in my head. Ava's lying, but she wants to show some sort of confidence.
I know I bring it up often, but I must once again cut to the chase and remind you of a discussion we had a long while ago now. A history lesson of sorts. Do you remember it?
I do.
I'm glad. And you remember the lesson? Can you tell me that lesson again?
The willing servant and the unwilling servant. Yes.
Those who do it for the greater desires and ambitions, and those who do it for selfish reasons. I hope you've internalized that. I have been disappointed recently. And I wish to make sure I am not disappointed a second time. Can we drop the pretense?
Whatever do you mean?
You know what I mean. I do not sense you any longer.
Yes. And you know why that happened?
I have my suspicions. But a particularly infatuated kindred who seems to no longer be in the city disappeared around the same time.
Your suspicions would be correct.
Too much trust was placed into that boy. I expected greater things from him.
I cared for him greatly.
Others will come and go. You'll get used to it.
He made a great sacrifice. He thought he was doing the right thing.
Do you believe he was doing the right thing?
I think he was very ambitious. I think he was misguided in some ways.
All you young fools are so ambitious. But even without being able to feel you as part of the greater grand scheme of things, it seems you are still rather interested. Your actions at least dictate that you don't intend on straying from the course. You did bring Mr. Vitale willingly and peacefully to Madison. For that, I thank you.
I am still here to continue things. If that is okay with you, I assume it is, as you've called me here and you've continued to have me do these tasks. I don't think me not being connected to you the way I used to, does that change things?
I'd lie if saying it didn't have more caution involved. That matters not. I didn't call you here to see if you were still on the path. I called you here as a reminder. Even those who have willingly served tend to get selfish desires. And some act on those selfish desires to their own detriment. Bella has been a problem. I believe the blame lies on her youth. She's concerned much too often in the gift I have given her, handed to her by our dear Dakota. She has attempted to take and wrest control of it for her very own. Foolish of her to do so.
She is slowly losing credibility among her fellow kindred as well.
It has been an issue. Bella will no longer be an issue.
Will it only be you moving forward?
In a manner of speaking.
I see. And what happened to Bella?
She's been removed.
I see.
I hope this doesn't sour our relationship moving forward.
No, of course not.
I expect great things of you, Miss Heloise. Many great things.
What is to be done next of me? Now that Vitel is in Madison.
I might just wish you to behave. Mr. Vitel will stay in Madison most of his time here. But you may see him in Chicago occasionally. You may disseminate this information to your coterie. I wish them to understand.
Of course. Thank you. I do so, and it will remain among us.
And I apologize for some of Bella's actions in the past.
Last night, was that
It was
Bella?
She nods. Shortly thereafter, she attempted to take advantage of a gift I had given her. A lesson I thought she had learned once already. Apparently not.
I understand. Well, with Lasombra now being on the Primogen Council, I think this will be a good step forward.
The city will remain much safer now.
Yes, of course.
Thank you for your time, Miss Heloise, and thank you for your service.
I appreciate the meeting, as always. Thank you.
She turns and, as though picks back up her Bella-isms, the way she speaks, the way she carries herself. You hadn't realized over the course of the conversation how subtly she changed. She slouched a little bit more, and the tone of her voice and the way she said things was much more strict, much more straightforward, more stoic is more the term I'm looking for. But as she ends the conversation, it's as though the light returns to the room and you are once again aware of where you are as she scoops the wine glass and finishes it off, not even offering you wine in this moment. And as she finishes the wine, she gestures for you to leave the room, and she turns her back to you, and you watch as she just crosses her arms and stares across the city of Chicago. Ava leaves, enters the elevator. What floor do you hit? You head to the ground floor.
Yeah.
And where do you go?
To the theater.
You make your way to the theater. This is hours and hours later, as you were kept in your suite until you were called for, and then the meeting lasted however long it ended up lasting. And as you arrive, what kind of cake did you guys end up getting?
I guess we have cheesecake, right? That's what's
cheesecake.
It's gotta be cheesecake.
They are
Lots of cheesecake.
They are eating some cheesecake as they were expecting you to arrive last night, and perhaps are a bit surprised to see you walk in tonight. As you turn, you see Ava actually arriving a night later than she was supposed to.
Hi.
You survived.
I did.
Want some cheesecake?
Yes, that sounds lovely.
Is Ava hiding the fact that she is flustered in the moment?
She is somewhat hiding it, but probably not that well.
Okay. Well, would the coder be able to pick up on it? That there's something off?
I imagine historically she's always left with some news, so this would make sense.
So we know Dakota offers cheesecake anyways.
Thanks.
It's kind of gross, but not.
It's good. Come on now, it's good.
It's weird.
It
It's
is
not a
weird.
cake.
Yeah,
What is it? It's not a pie.
it's good. That's all that matters.
And I offer a giant forkful of cheesecake.
She's like,
Yeah. Like Ava nervous eats.
if you're blush of lifing, you need long RAS checks, everybody.
Something is wrong. Something is wrong.
Yeah, I just got back from my meeting with the prince.
And what did she have to say?
It's a very odd delay.
Well, everything was fine. Just fine. Y'all are gonna not believe this.
Try me, Ava Eloise.
I was expecting to meet with the prince. It wasn't the prince.
Okay, so Sybil showed her ugly face?
It was Sybil, and it will remain to be Sybil. Moving forward, Bella is gone.
Like,
what do you mean gone?
Sybil is not happy, was not happy with the way Bella has been acting. And she will no longer need her. She's gone, as of last night. Every time we see the prince, it will not be Bella. It's Sybil.
She's getting really bold.
She is extremely bold. She has reminded me that I am still a servant of hers, and that I will still be needed in the future. And I assured her that I will continue to be there for her, despite her not being able to keep tabs on me the way she used to. And the plans that she has are still moving forward, albeit slowly. But she will no longer be using Bella for it. I guess she's going to be doing it herself.
Was it Bella last night?
It was. And that was the last thing Bella ever did.
Dumb bitch. Okay, so tell me. Sybil must not be happy with the choices Bella made? But it seems like seating the Sombra is something Sybil would want.
This is true. I think that is part of what Sybil wants, but from what I've gathered, Bella was trying to do things, use powers or something that Sybil was not happy with.
And I don't understand. We were assured that she wants your body. If she could have taken Bella's at any point, what the fuck is she doing with you?
Huh. I just had a thought. What if the idea was to feed you the sheriff so that you could suckle up some of that power, and then she took it upon herself to personally dispatch of the sheriff?
Bella ain't the sheriff. I hate her more now than ever. What a selfish... Okay.
My meeting was delayed, so I have a feeling something happened last night.
Well, I imagine that if Sybil didn't like how Bella handled it, Sybil might have had a bite to eat last night.
Perhaps. I didn't ask too many questions.
Does she still trust you?
It seems she does. I think she has some mild suspicions. But I think ultimately, she still trusts me.
She's counting on you telling us.
She did say that I could tell you both. She gave me permission.
Then I look forward to the day she's brave enough to talk to me in person. She's always hid herself. I did deliver her in a fucking box. The least she could do is give me the goddamn time of day. So until she does, I'll add her to my list with Bella.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
I don't know. I'm uneasy and concerned. I mean, I should be happy. Sybil even apologized on behalf of the things that Bella had done.
It was intent. Her intent is to smooth over the rough waters. She wants to keep you a supple sow for use.
It seems to be that way.
I hate it.
I do too.
What, though?
That's the question. That is the question. What does she need
Here
me for?
I am, an ancient, really upset kindred. I'm locked away in what is basically vampire hell for all eternity because my sire didn't want me, right? So I go through all this trouble. I get half of me delivered in a box. I latch myself on to the biggest bitch in Chicago. And what? Decide that she makes a bad decision, so I take her body. But why are they plumping you up, Ava? Who else needs a body?
Of course.
The
Of course there's someone who needs a body.
Fuck.
one that she wants.
She
You're
can't
the
kill
friend.
sire. You.
The sire.
What a crazy bitch. She's gonna take her sire, who hated women after siring them, and shove his soul into your
It's me.
beautiful female frame. My. Ava Heloise, I'm very sorry for you.
So I'm the one. It's not me that becomes Sybil. It's Sybil that takes me.
No, I think she's
No.
gonna take her sire and put him deep inside you.
Yeah.
And when he's made corporeal, she can kill you.
Kill me.
Yeah. Guess
She's
what? You're
got
rising to the
Bella.
ranks
She doesn't need a body.
of what do they call them? Older than mess. The I don't even know. It's Rubians and I don't know. The old ones, the real old ones.
Antediluvian.
Antediluvian.
Yeah, that one. You're gonna be like a superstar, basically.
That's why she's beefing your body up. I bet he can't. You're all, we're kind of low kindred in the list of things. She's got to beef your ass up to be able to, assure that you don't break or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
Great. So this is what I signed up for.
So you're becoming the burrito.
I guess so. And now I get to talk to the person every time I go up to that. Every time I go up there to talk to her, I'm talking to the one who's going to kill me.
Well, I say as long as you can maintain the cover and she can't control you anymore, you just have to assure she thinks you trust her.
Yes.
If that's actually the plan, maybe we can suss it out. Find out for sure, and if we're ahead of her, well, be one step ahead of your enemies.
I agree. I still don't think she quite has caught on to how much we know.
Oh, let's hope she doesn't, or I imagine that we will also be joining the sheriff in isolation. Well,
I was gonna say, does the silence seem to just kind of settle on the group?
Ollie's
Yeah.
he's in a weird spot. He feels informationally blessed. He's just, I don't know. He's just had like physical contact with another human being for the first time in like forever.
like 10 years for the both of them.
Yeah.
Kind of eating cheesecake. And I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm with Ollie. We're feeling really good. Sorry, Ava.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Sorry, Ava.
Ava's just processing a lot right now, so
There's a lot to process.
Dakota does put a hand on your shoulder and she said, or actually, you know what? She loops your pinky because that's how we do it. And she says, "Look, we have exploded the Sheriff's Haven. We helped bring this Sybil to the forefront. We are the loud ones, and we are gonna get you out of this.
Yeah.
She doesn't know that we know. And all we have to do is continue to be smarter than her. And so far, somehow, we have pulled a rabbit out of that hat. Ollie made a good point tonight. I'm not going to be their punching bag anymore, but I'm also not going to give up.
Find victory where we can muster, you know? I mean, that seemed like a lot, but like I personally relish in the fact that I turned Brett's stomach. It makes me so very happy.
I relish in the fact that one day he's gonna ask me to have sex with him and I get to tell him no.
You know,
Just gotta
same.
get through every kindred in the city.
Same. I think he's gonna ask me the same thing. And I'm gonna keep on him.
Every kindred in the city, no doubt, I heard somewhere through the storyteller grapevine.
yeah, there's victories.
You know what?
You know
And
what?
fucking small ones. She doesn't know. And
She doesn't
can't
know.
control you anymore. So have some wine, Ava Heloise. Have a slice of cheesecake. The loud ones are still fucking here, and I imagine that we're not going anywhere.
We have really good allies, and I believe in us.
As Ava grabs a piece of cheesecake and the camera lingers on small talk for a while, we watch the moist cake being kind of sliced off with big bites being eaten in every
Can we dump
kindred
cherries all over the
right,
top
you do
of it?
anything
Yeah.
exactly, and like some of you haven't been able to do this for a while. Others you still don't do it very often anyway. And just the moist thickness of the cake, the sweetness that covers your tongue, having to take a drink just to get it down. Sometimes it's an experience that you thoroughly enjoy for however long you let this go. And as your cake finishes up and you're taking your last bite with merely crumbs on the plate, some of you may be having your second piece or what have you. The front door has a big bang, 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 bang. There's not much time before is it left locked or is it unlocked while you were here?
I imagine it is always locked.
Okay, so there's just the bang, bang, bang.
Okay.
Whoever goes up to answer it is a Dakota that
Dakota
pops
will
up.
go grab it. Yeah,
She goes,
I'll
and
go grab
as she swings it open, standing outside is a face that you were perhaps happy to see, but not expecting to see. Mr. Jackson, along with Mr. Sovereign and his ghoul, are standing on the outside. Mr. Jackson simply looks to you as his hands are crossed and limply hanging below his waist. And he just gestures for if they may come in without saying a word.
Oh, of course. I apologize. We were not expecting you, but we are having cheesecake and wine. Dakota gets to say, in honesty.
Mr. Jackson does not have any expression that comes across his face. He simply nods and walks in. Sovereign following in the ghoul behind Sovereign, being the last as the door shuts. He walks to the center of the room, ensuring he has all of your attention, and makes eye contact with each one of you. As the camera kind of pulls up to see the group, you simply hear Mr. Jackson say, "We need to talk." And as he says that, the camera fades. And as it fades to black, we shift. A few nights pass, perhaps a week's worth of time. And the camera picks up first with Ava Heloise in a ritzy bar that we have never seen her in before, on the third floor in a VIP area. She stands with what would Ava be wearing in a club like this?
Ava would be wearing, I think she would be wearing a black dress. It is like mid-length, kind of tight fitting. Her hair is up in, her bangs kind of fall in front, but she has a updo and a nice classy bun. She wears a kind of like lacy, gloves. And then she also has a red necklace on with a ruby gem in it.
And as we see this gorgeous outfit that sits on Ava and a few of people on your left and right having small talk. Someone's actually bringing you a drink to replace the one that you had as you lean yourself over and are just taking in the ambiance as you enjoy places like this, even if you don't get to go to them every single night. We watch as on your, the camera pans to your shoulder, and we watch a delicate, pale hand with white fingernails gently place itself on you. As you turn around, expecting to see this person, there we see the short, white-haired Annabelle. She smiles pleasantly to you, and words are exchanged, though we as the audience don't get to hear it as the club is much too loud. And there's a pleasant giggling from both sides as you kiss her cheek and she kisses yours, and she turns back, and behind her stands a face that you've wanted to get to know much, much more. A tall, quiet, dark man who stands there by the name of Nero. He reaches forward and takes your hand gently and gives your knuckles just a gentle kiss before placing your hand back. And we watch as some pleasant conversation happens quietly off in a private room in this newfound club. Annabelle's, by the way. The camera cuts again. We're down in near Ollie's bar. A giant area has been demolished, a building completely removed, and this is the first real project that is to happen on this evening. As the camera comes down street level, we see as Ollie standing as the construction is getting going across the street, hands behind his back, dressed in a suit as he typically is while he's out on business, and a mask as he's expecting proper business tonight out on the public streets, besides the fact that you are standing amongst kind, Masquerade, breach and all, to have your face out quite always. As we stand and we see Ollie, Mr. Sovereign strides about a block away. He stands and stands next to you and begins a polite conversation. You see as he pulls out a manila envelope, and as the camera sees it flop open, we see blueprints and building preparations where certain things are going to go, and just the basic general construction. It's handed over to you as he's going over the numbers with you, watching as he looks up and his company begins its actual work this evening. What can't be seen is that behind Sovereign, sitting rather closely, is a large feline, invisible to the naked eye, but the camera can pick up a gentle, deep, purring noise, indicating that there is something nearby. Chianta hangs around very closely to Ollie, intends to, as the nights continue. Ollie has been busy these past few nights as construction and business has really picked up. And the bar itself has been busy simply because people are starting to get to know the area. Grant has been needing the help of Haley over the past few nights as well, and that place is bringing pretty good money. Now, Sovereign says he has nothing to do with this new uptick in business. But you also know that if a venture is investing their money, they're going to make sure that they make their money back. Again, the camera shifts. We find ourselves in Northerly Isle, the night of the gather that Dakota had called many months ago. A fire crackles quietly in the distance and not nearly as uproarious as it would have been at the beginning. Dakota sits on a log. What would Dakota wear to her gather?
How much time has passed?
Since you called it, you said you wanted it in 6 months, right?
About 6 months' time has actually passed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dakota's been busy doing some things. I think we actually see her, like, walk in. She doesn't have holes in her clothes. In fact, she probably wears, like, a swanky casual blazer over, like, a t-shirt. And just some jeans, you know, and boots. And we see her take the blazer off. So she looks a lot more like a gangrel. Her
Would
arms.
Dakota have brought drinks out of curiosity?
Oh, yeah. She, like, pulls up a 12-pack probably, or maybe a 24-pack. These are gangrel. And in hopes that they would show. You can see now she still continued to get tattoos, and her arms and her chest are beginning to, get covered. They peek out of certain places. Yeah, and so she kind of drops the blazer. She might even fold it really nice and tuck it in a backpack. She doesn't have many of those, and she has to wear it on the occasion. But yeah, I think we see her kind of. There's a hope here, right? All she can do is show up, and so she grabs a beer and begins peeling.
And you've been tending to this fire now and peeling a couple of beers for a few hours, and Dakota has been completely alone. I'm sure maybe some frustration across her face. Would she be if she found herself alone for a good 4 or 5 hours for the first night? Would she get frustrated on that? I mean, the night of, rather.
I don't know at this point, right?
Sure.
Dakota,
Or she kind of
there's a level of
accepted it in a way.
acception of defeat, right? That this is all a gamble, anyways. And so I don't think we see surprise.
Sure.
That nobody has showed.
Sure. What we see then is that maybe Dakota finishing peeling a label and then putting the beer down, ready to pack it in for the evening. We see her stand up from the log she sat nearby. And as the camera begins to pan out and we can see the kind of area she's cleared out with nobody around and Dakota beginning to walk away, we actually hear a rustle in a nearby bush that's coming from behind Dakota. Dakota takes a couple of steps before she stops short. She turns around. And through that rustle, you see a foot make its way through. A man with long hair, a little bit darker skin, clearly of Native American descent, with ripped jeans, steps forward. Lester knife. He gestures to the beer as though he could take one, but doesn't say a word.
I grab it and toss it.
As you toss
it at him.
He simply catches it and with his own finger just pops the top off. He
They're
looks
not
around.
Cold anymore. You were late.
Bad business. He plops down on a nearby log and he takes a large swig.
Dakota, I imagine she turns around and we see a very light smile cross her face. She sits and she says, "Well, there is no place for business here."
Been a while since I've had those words put at me. And he takes another swig of the beer.
Me too.
He clearly loosens up his shoulders as he leans on his own knees and takes in the warmth of the fire. You do not see any panic crawl across his face. And as the camera seems to be pulling away and the scene seems to be coming to an end, another figure emerges from the woods and makes its way over. Dakota would recognize the face of Moon as he comes and grabs a beer and plops down. And just as we think we're near an end, we see a large wolf-like figure slowly stalk its way out of the nearby woods, slowly change its shape, with its long black hair, trench coat, and sunglasses on a night that clearly never needs them. And he slowly strides toward the center. A couple of brief words can be seen being said between Dakota and Beckett. But what is being said is up for another night. Because the camera fades there and we shift.
She passes him something. Small
we
cassette.
I completely forgot. Thank you. We actually do see, as the words are said, Dakota quickly reaches into a pocket and places it very firmly in Beckett's palm. And he clenches it. And we see Dakota again kind of saying something about it. And we see Beckett curiously look at the tape as you say that. And then he himself puts it on an inside pocket of his trench coat, places a hand on your shoulder and wishes you to bring him into the gather formally.
Oh, absolutely. You'll see Dakota kind of walk over. She asks if he wants a beer. I mean, that seems to be a reoccurring theme. And
on that
she
offer,
doesn't have anything but rocks and logs, and she
exactly.
offers one. So
it's very gangrel. It's very gangrel.
Or maybe like a decrepit lawn chair or something.
Sure, I would imagine there's definitely a lawn chair you found in the woods or something that was like sat there, and that's when the camera fades, and we shift one more time to a nearby church. We see a familiar Nosferatu fiddling around, singing, even picking up the place. The church itself has been under massive renovations for a while. And Needles seems rather pleased to be here. We watch as he scurries out and ripples from existence, but the camera follows him into the sewer. He scurries northward for a while before we actually see him trading for something. Seems to be more supplies. He continues to gather them, paying another Nosferatu in something, and maybe making even a deal before he gets a ratty-looking plastic bag that's double bagged with, it looks like, just from the outside look, construction supplies of the like. And as he's about to leave, and he plops down into the sewers, we see him scamper off. We can hear his footsteps in the sewer water, turning corner after corner. Not running, but clearly excited. As he turns a corner, clearly near his church, he stops short. He looks up, and you see as he drops his plastic bag, the hammer and nails scatter out, hit the concrete ground. A shadow is cast over him. The camera looks up from the bag, and we see a young black woman with a short afro. Jean shorts, all boots, tattoos on her arms, and a military throw jacket over, with a crossbow pointed directly at Needles. She has a smile plastered across her face as she steps forward a few times. She looks down, towering over him by about 6 or so inches. She chuckles a little bit. You're gonna be my first. But I'm going to have you scream first. And you're going to tell me every goddamn thing you know. And if you're lucky, I'll let you live. And you can let them know Layla's here. She moves in very quickly. She quickly sheathes her crossbow, and in her free hand, she pulls a stake. You watch it lodge into the chest of needles before he has a time to react, and he crumples forward. She catches him before he lands into a puddle and makes no splash, and we simply see her throw him over his shoulder. There's a whistle, and 3 others come from different tunnels, hunters of varying ages, and they all surround her before there's a bit of a conversation, and they scatter again. She hands off needles to one of them. She seems to pick something out of her boot, looks at it briefly before sliding it back in, the camera never getting a real clear look at it. Or she scampers back into the darkness once more. We fade to black. And on a rather peaceful end, we will end season 2 here. Happy 90 episodes, everybody.
She's a dead woman. She's a dead woman. She touched needles. That poor
Needles.
I'll never forgive her for that.
I know. Oh man.
Wow.
A bit of a quieter. I know season 1 ending was a bit more explosive, but going into season 2, as we'll talk a little bit more in the after show that we'll be having live, is that kind of tone shift for season 2 as a whole, and how you all feel, how you ended up in your places. But
yeah,
that's going to be the end for season 2, everybody.
Wow.
It was good.
Yeah, it was. It was a good ending.
How you feel about it in the after show. But Maggie, if you want to take it.
Yeah, give me a moment. I'm trying to do the things. All right, there you go. Hey, that was it was fun to watch. So thank you all for the entertainment. Yeah. Of course, we'll talk a little bit about where you can find all these lovely folks at. But before we do that, we have some quick reminders and announcements. Usually after our episode, we'd have our after show for Ascension and our MP3 up. But since we ended a little early, just a reminder that will be coming out at around 2 p.m. Pacific. So, Google some time zone conversions if you need there. But we'll also let you know on our social channels. So if you follow us on all of the things at Roll4, we'll make sure that you're up to date on where all of our shows are, what new shows are coming. And of course, because this is the grand finale, we will be having a new show coming next week. Our Mass Effect Mercs Chapter 2 is going to be kicking off again. So you definitely want to come check that out. We have a whole amazing cast for that. And we'll see you right here. Of course, if you'd like to support us, you can go to patreon.com/roll4. That is the best way to support us, because not only do you support our lovely cast, help us continue telling amazing stories, you also get some cool rewards in return, from MP3s to all of these lovely characters. We're going to have the character sheets up for you so you can kind of see what it's like for the end of season 2. And then of course, Mathis might have some GM stuff for us, and we'll get that wrapped up and up over there if you're interested in checking that out. We do a lot of interviews. We also have a privately GM'd game that one of our cast members, or 2 of our cast members, usually run. And we alternate those all the time. And I think Dot's currently one of them. I think Bentham is doing it as well. Besides supporting us over on Patreon, you can also become a subscriber over on Twitch or a YouTube member, and you get access to all of our awesome emotes. And if you're a Twitch subscriber, you get access to our VODs early. But if you're a patron, a YouTube member, a Twitch subscriber, all of the above, you get access to our Discord, where I'm sure we're going to have a lot of conversations about what just happened, and leading into some future things down the line. So come hang out with us. It'll be amazing. And I think the only other thing that I have here is a big, huge, humunga thank you to our supporter, Philip. So get some roll loves in chat. Thank you, Philip, for supporting today's episode. It was a doozy. It's always nice when you get to snag a finale or an episode 1 of a show. So yeah, I think that's all I've got for announcements. We'll go around and see where you can find all of these wonderful people, because not only do they do an amazing job here on Roll For It, but they also do a lot of other things. So we're going to start with Dakota Rain, played by a Little Red Dot. Where can people find you when you're not howling to the moon now? I don't know what's happening.
I'm Little Red Dot. Find me online there under Little Red Dot. I'm a live stream producer and a bit of an RPG nerd, and I like to roll dice and tell stories, and I do that all kinds of places. Here's my home away from home, but I also get to do that with the awesome cast of Stitch of Fate, which is pretty sweet. So check that out if you need some more, vampire. And then at a few other places, I'm starting up an Aliens game coming up with old Bub, starting on Thursdays, and I got some more sci-fi RPGs out there as well. And then catch me with Kobold Press, where I'm their Twitch producer. So if you need some obscure 5e, come join us in Midgard. It's a good time.
And moving on from there, right above Dakota, we've got Ollie Hopkins, played by the Bubbernot. Where can people find you when you are not giving people the feels?
Well, I mean, like anywhere I'm at, I feel like I give people the feels, but you guys can find me over at twitch.tv/thebubbernot. I'm with a lot of these people here doing a lot of really cool things as Don. I'm just echoing here at this point, but we do Stitch of Fate. I also play with Maggie on Tuesdays. We do The Haunting of Harrowstone on my channel. It is quickly becoming one of my favorite experiences thus far. All the characters are pretty amazing. As Dot said, there will be an alien show coming up. I am reprising my role as a synth named Kitchens. That should be fun. I'm very excited for that. Again, Stitch of Fate, and I mean that's it, man. I'm just out here vibing, just doing the damn thing. You know how it is. Come find me on twitch.tv/thebubbernot. I'll be there.
All right. And our last cast member here, we have Ava Heloise, played by Miss Magitech. Where can people find you when you are not getting the things? I don't know what's happening. I was like, Ava.
The Toreador life. No. Hi, everybody. I am Tracy, also known as Miss Magitech. And like everybody else, I also do a lot of streaming stuff. I basically stream like every night, whether it be on my own channel or on other channels. Except Saturdays now. I have some Saturdays off. But basically Wednesday to Sunday, I play in TTRPGs. Right now I'm playing Kids on Bikes, Pathfinder, D&D, Cyberpunk Red. There's a lot. So if you're into any of those, feel free to just give me a follow on Twitter or wherever, and you can catch when I'm going live. But yeah, I'm very busy, but very much enjoying it. It's keeping me busy in a good way. So
I think Tracy's taking over my role of just playing in like 8 million campaigns a week.
Yeah. I mean, I have nothing else to do right now, so I'm very happy that I'm doing it. But yeah, so it is a lot.
And of course, our cast would be nothing without an amazing storyteller. Mathis Games, where can people find you when you are not making us laugh, making us cry, making us pee our pants? And, I think someone in the chat was going to have a heart palpitation problem.
I'm sorry if I did that to you. Unlike these people, I'm not doing a million campaigns. So if you if you want more of me doing this, I'm doing one other vampire campaign, Stitch of Fate. It's the podcast they've already talked about a bunch. Go check that out. I also do Chilluminati podcasts. It's my main thing where I do once a week a comedy podcast on paranormal stuff, true crime stuff, haunted stuff, you name it. And then Mathis Games on Twitch and on YouTube for my kind of gaming content. And that's it for me, Maggie.
Yeah. And so that's going to wrap it up for season 2 of Vampire the Masquerade. But if you're watching here live, definitely stay with us. We are going to be doing an after show. We're going to take a little break so people can go potty and get a drink.
Yeah,
you should also go potty and get a drink. And then we'll return and you can ask the cast chat questions. And
I'm excited for this
try to snag those. And I know they're going to do their stars for the episode as well. So you can find out what they really enjoyed it. Maybe stars for the season would be kind of cool.
A lot of moments.
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah,
we got a lot to talk about, so don't go anywhere.
Yeah, seriously, stick around, y'all.
Got that Empire Strikes Back kind of bad ending going. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm checking.
I know what you mean. We play that. Loud ones play that movie at the theater.
Yeah,
exactly.
On the reg. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, and we got a couple tips here. So let me go through. The first one is from Darkblade382, and they said, "Can't tip much." They tipped $25. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, wow.
But,
thank you.
Just want to say that SOS has been a massive inspiration to me. It truly is a work of art. # season 3, please.
Oh!
You have to stay tuned. And then, of course, we got an anonymous donation for $100. Thank you so much for the support.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We'll put it to good use. All right. With that, we will be taking our break from here. But if you're watching on YouTube, we'll see you later. And we'll see you in a short bit. Thanks, everybody.
See you in just a minute.